NZ Aerosports, Icarus Canopies, now Gyro. That's right, we've rebranded, and Gyro is our next generation. It honours our founder, as that's the name we knew him by, but Gyro also marks the start of a new chapter. And not to be biased, but it's going to be fucking epic. Long story short, we're more us than ever, so if you're new to the sport, or even a Sky God Ninja Turtle, welcome. I think our valiant leader Lucy, Gyro's daughter, says it best.
And we still got that fuck yeah attitude. Rebrand! Woo!
Rebrand woo indeed, Lucy. Anyway, head over to gyro.com for more info and get amongst your legends.
I was 19, broke, unemployed, and sold my girlfriend's canopy for drug money. So I thought I better sew her a new one. What a sentence, and what a story. This describes the humble yet outrageous beginnings of NZ Aerosports, the home of Icarus Canopies, in the words of our founder himself. From getting a paratrooper toy from his mom, watching parachutes at the DZ as a 6-year-old, jumping off the wharf with a parachute made from bed sheets, doing his first jump at 16, sewing his first canopy on a borrowed machine at 19, and starting to sell parachutes out of a garage in 1986, Paul Gyro Martin had an undying love for the sky. Our company started with one man with the wildest of spirits and a true blue sky dream, a renegade. In the time that Gyro created and ran the Icarus Canopies brand until he passed away in 2017, he pushed everything he had to its limits. We miss him, and we always will. Gyro is the next generation of NZ Aerosports. It honors our founder, of course, because it was the name we all knew him by, but Gyro the rebrand also marks the start of a new chapter, our next jump. Gyro is the space between sound and silence, art and science, chaos and calm. Gyro is a state of epic tranquility that transcends understanding. That moment, in the door, in free fall, mid-swoop, where nothing but the present exists. A perfect balance of euphoria and thrill. Gyro captures our passion for flying and our commitment to designing break-the-fucking-rules canopies that deliver pilots pure, wild flight.
Coming straight from the cockpit, it's another episode of Lunatic Fringe with the fucking pilot.
Ready, set, go! Back in the can for another edition of the Lunatic Fringe podcast, and a familiar face that I have not seen in quite some time smiling back at me. Who the fuck are you, and what do you do?
Well, princess, this is Max. I got to get back to that princess thing. I'm currently in Germany. I am German. What do? I currently work at indoorskydiving.com. I do marketing, and I'm also a tunnel instructor here. Besides that, as you may know, the skydiving season in Germany is not the longest. We're really seasonally, and we only have weekends most of the time. So if I do make it out of the tunnel, you find me at drop zones. Especially this year, I did quite some tandems, just the little fun jumps, but I'm up there. I'm in the air flying, so that's good.
I saw a bunch of posts from you doing tandems, and you'd not done tandems for quite some time, at least not this many, right?
Yeah, well, after Dubai, where it was like a daily job to do tandems, I actually had like a little baby break and moved to Spain, where just like every now and then, like I really had to fight to do tandems. It was not like somebody's always asking like, "Hey, can you do tandem?" It's like I really want to do a tandem, just like for myself to be like current, actually like physically current, not just on paper, and also to be current on paper. And every now and then I had the trip to Germany. It was super easy when I showed up at the drop zone. It was like, "Hey, Max, do you want to do a tandem?" Okay, yeah, no problem. In Spain, it was kind of the other way around. Like, "Hey, can I please do a tandem?"
Sure. I can't remember the last time I woke up thinking, I really want to go do a tandem. It's been a long fucking time.
To be honest, even though I have my tandem rating for 8 years now, I never got to the point that I really didn't want to do a tandem.
Sure.
Like even now, I'm really happy to do tandems. I wouldn't say it's more fun than do like a sports fun jump for myself, but I really enjoy bringing somebody into our sports and getting to feel their excitement again.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, I've said it a million times on the podcast. My favorite way to jump out of all my jumps ended up being tandems because it was so much fun. I mean, it didn't mean I didn't love going out and doing fun jumps and hopping pops and shooting video and all that stuff, but tandems, I was just very at home and very comfortable. And you get that buzz off of somebody else. It's like you're mainlining their adrenaline.
Also, I got to say something really bad. It's the only jump. If you say you do a two-way, it's actually a two-way all the way.
Yes, fair enough. Fair enough. So now, how did you get your start? Not necessarily just in skydiving, but in any so-called extreme sport.
In any so-called extreme sport. Well, it was basically my own interest, or let's say my parents. Well, not that extreme, but my parents got me into skiing and snow sports really early. They just took me along. It was their natural, um, how should I say? They were on like 4 to 5 trips a year, just going skiing. And I came along even before I was walking. I was in my parents' backpack or like strapped around the belly. And then, I mean, I wouldn't really know how old I was, maybe 2 or 3. I had my skis on, and we were skiing down the mountains. So that was pretty cool.
I
And
mean,
besides,
skiing can be pretty damn extreme, man. I mean,
yeah, it depends how much time you really spend and what you really do. I think in that age it wasn't that extreme. I remember a story from my dad. It was like, hey, I was at the competition, slalom competition, and I lost my glove, and I stopped, climbed up the hill, got my glove, and then continued racing. So maybe I wasn't that competitive, or I don't know, but
just didn't want a cold hand.
yeah. And besides that, I mean, I tried everything. I was a big movie fan, and whatever I saw in movies, I really wanted to try. So that's why I guess also as soon as I turned 18, I had all my tattoos done. And I was like, okay, I'm independent now. My parents don't tell me shit. And
Yeah,
and
I bet that went over real well.
yeah, my mom cried a little bit, but then after a few weeks, she kind of got used to it. And
Yeah, fair enough. Fair
I
enough.
mean, at the end, it's our body and it's our decision, and I don't regret any of the tattoos I have. So it's all good.
Yeah. I mean, tattoos can definitely be considered a bit on the extreme side too, although now it's extreme to not have a tattoo because everybody like you and me are sleeved out and, tattoos all over the place. And my wife doesn't have a single tattoo and it's weird.
Yeah. Especially in skydiving and
Yeah.
people around. Like, if you don't have a tattoo, it's like, what? You skydiving? You don't have a tattoo? Or let's put myself into another extreme. Oh, what? You're a skydiver? You have tattoos and you don't drink?
Right. Right. Yeah, absolutely. It's like a narc walked onto the drop zone.
Yeah. It's strange.
So now, how did skydiving enter your life? How'd you get started?
How did it enter my life? Well, my dad used to fly little 206, little 182s here in
Mm,
Germany. And he took me along also when I was like a baby, carried along in the maxi cozy.
yeah.
We go on like on trips here throughout Germany or maybe throughout Europe, whatever you do. And there's like on the airport where he was at, there was always like once a year like a festival where they had like shows and remote control planes and whatever and skydiving. So my mom actually did her tandem maybe I would have to guess now 30 years ago, let's say. So I was 8 and I always wanted to do a tandem as well. And then back then they said, oh, you're too young, you're too small, whatever. And when I turned 10, there was this festival again. And I was like, hey, can I do a tandem? And they're like, yeah. And then I
At
did one on
10.
Saturday. Yeah. And then I did one on a Saturday and one on a Sunday, right the day after, because I really liked it.
Nice.
And I was like, hey, can we do like a backflip? And he's like, yeah, you did well yesterday, so let's do it. I'm like,
Nice.
cool.
Dude, it's so cool, especially with Europe and I worked in New Zealand for a while as well, which is where I took my youngest student was 8. And I was terrified as the instructor because this little guy is just teeny on the front of me, and I'm like, oh my. And I think he would have rather been playing with his toy cars in the dirt, but his dad was insistent that he go make a jump. But in the States, try and get a 10-year-old legally on a tandem? No way in hell. Never happened.
Yeah, well, actually, I just had this similar conversation today with a friend and with some customers in the tunnel asking how old you have to be to do a tandem jump. And I don't even know where to start with the story. Let's say Milo, my son, who is now 6,
Yeah.
he came the other day and pushed me and literally said, "Dad, you're an asshole." And I'm like, "What?" And that was at the drop zone. And he's like, "You can have fun with all these people around here, but you're not taking me for a skydive. What's the problem?" And it really left me speechless for a few minutes because I didn't know what to say. Because on one hand, I was upset that he called me an asshole.
Sure.
On the other hand, I felt him and I was like, "Oh, I really love to take you." And it's not the first time that I'm thinking about it, but I don't know how to say it, psychologically and physically, normally I would say he's totally into it. I mean, he's flying in the tunnel. I booked 30 minutes and he just flies them straight. He doesn't want to break, nothing. So he's a machine, but I'm just a little bit scared about the sinuses. Like if something
Sure.
goes wrong with the depressure, then you screwed something up for his entire life. And
Yeah.
that's something I don't really want to do. Like I know I've heard of other tandem instructors who took their kids here in Germany, in Russia, wherever. But I'm really struggling. Like I'm thinking about doing a hop and pop maybe next year with him, just to
Sure.
like stay a little bit lower on the altitude.
I
But
mean,
besides that,
it's a proper concern though. I took my nephew for a ride along many years ago, and my sister and mom were out at the drop zone visiting when I was flying, and so I took my nephew up for a ride and didn't ask him, "Hey, do you know how to clear your sinuses? Do you know how to plug your nose and clear your ears?" And he didn't. And so we're on the descent down and he's having fun and I'm letting him fly it kind of, and all that stuff. And then I look over and he's just got tears streaming down his eyes. And I'm like, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "Yeah, yeah, I'm okay. This is great. My ears are killing me." And I guess he climbs out of the plane and he's just in agony, telling his mom, "Oh, that was so amazing, but I think my head's going to explode." And I felt like such a prick because I didn't ask that simple question like, "Hey, you're a kid. Do you know how to do this?"
yeah, no, exactly. And that's my only concern why I didn't take him this year. Like I tried the harness, even the regular Sigma harness is great for kids. Like I had a kid's harness in my hand, but somehow the way it was assembled and the straps were like you couldn't really tighten it so much. And taking the normal PAX harness was okay. Like if I really tightened it all the way, it was
Sure.
great. It was safe. So I didn't have a problem from equipment side either. But it was just like I was like, okay, maybe not this year, maybe next year, and then we'll see how we do it. And
Sure.
if I find also, I found here that a lot of pilots are struggling to take kids on the plane. I mean, not just as a co-pilot, but also if they know that there's a passenger doing a tandem and they are, I don't know, below, depends on the pilot, below 10 or below 12, they don't want to fly them.
Sure. Sure.
So
I
that's
mean,
like the main thing.
part of me understands and part of me doesn't. I mean, I come from a drastically different generation, so I kind of get it and I kind of don't. But I mean, your parents, obviously, you got to jump at 10. So you do that first tandem at 10, but when did you actually decide I'm going to learn how to skydive? Was it then and you just had to wait?
To be honest, my parents gave me the option like at 13, 14. I think in Germany you can ask for like requests and say you're a skydiving family or like your piloting family, whatever. Can I do it a year early? So I think you can start at 14. Don't nail me on that. I'm not 100% sure now,
Mm,
but I think normally it's 15 and you can request to do it 14. And my parents, like my dad even gave me the options to do my piloting license for airplanes, like with him, to fly with him.
nice.
But at 14, 15, all that I was thinking about was not spending the weekends with my parents.
Sure.
to be honest. And nowadays, I would say, what an idiot! I should have taken this one more year and started not spending time with my parents, maybe with 16 or so. But
Sure.
you know, you can always say it takes some time and you're more clever afterwards. But
Yeah. So
well,
you went
whatever.
through, you started AFF at 15 then, or
No, actually, at 28.
28?
Yeah.
So wait, what the fuck happened from you got offered at 15 and you waited another 13 years?
Well, like I said, I grew up in Germany, knowing the weather, knowing spending some time at certain airports, etc., and getting to see some skydivers and having some friends that are skydivers in Germany. And they always like took me along, said, "Hey, why don't you do your AFF, whatever?" And I looked at them like either they were waiting because the weather sucked, or they were waiting because there was not enough people, or they were waiting because there was too many people, or they were waiting because there was something wrong with the plane, or there was always a reason to wait. And I was like, what kind of sport is this
Yeah.
where you spend most of the time waiting for something?
Yeah,
Like
fair
compared
enough.
to you go to the gym, you check in, you do your training. If there's somebody on a machine that reads a book, you tell them to piss off, and then you like do your training.
So you
So
see all this, did you just decide to get on with a normal life? Do you like go to school and like have dreams like normal people?
normal life. What? Wait, define normal. I mean, what? However you would define normal. What did I do? Maybe I stick with the how did I get to skydiving at 28? I have one friend. His name is Jerome. He like constantly tried to get me into skydiving, and then 2013 for my birthday, I think, or 2012, he took me to the tunnel to indoor skydiving in Bottrop, and was like, "Oh, here's 10 minutes. It's for your birthday. Enjoy." And we were flying, and it went quite well. The instructor was Toby Sherinsky, and he was like, "Oh, Max, you're quite talented, at least a little bit, whatever. You should do it more often, and you should come skydiving and do your license and whatever." So kind of like got convinced. A week later, during Eastern, I started my AFF, and then went skydiving pretty much every weekend. Went along with Toby, who was doing his canopy piloting courses also at different drop zones, and did I think 1,000 jumps in my first year.
Holy shit.
And yeah, so that's how it started, and then it became kind of extreme.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, especially to take that kind of a break in between that first tandem and being offered AFF and then waiting all the way to 28 and then cranking out 1,000 jumps in your first season. I mean, holy shit. Man, oh man. You must kind of look back and go, how many jumps would I have now? Where would I be?
Yeah, but not just looking back at 14, also looking back at 2015-16 when I was in Dubai. And when after I left Dubai and then going into like a baby break, which kind of took my way from all the way up here pretty far down, because
Yeah.
I just went through like kind of normal life, in quotation marks, and just having skydiving as a hobby compared to actually getting into it working wise very quickly,
Sure.
and then taking like a break, like a hardcore
Yeah.
break.
Well, now how did Dubai happen? Well, first off, how did you decide you wanted to become an instructor and work in it? And then how the hell did you end up in Dubai?
Well, one of my backgrounds was that I studied film and photography, and I kind of took that along to skydiving. And I was wondering why, when I got there, everything seemed to be stuck so far behind. Like the technology went on. I mean, there was GoPros for sure, but there was GoPro, I don't know, maybe back then 3 or something, and people had still GoPro ones and they didn't know how to edit videos. And I was like, hey, why don't you have like nicer videos for like, I don't know, for a commercial or just for your like for your website, for the AFF school, whatever. And I wanted to take like my video stuff and photograph stuff into skydiving. So I started doing that, and then like sending out some pictures to magazines, so like to the German magazine. And then I reached out to like people that I met here, whether it's skydiving clothing for a German company, like for Rainbow, and then for Cyprus. And I started to become like a Cyprus rep pretty early. And I really wanted to like know what I'm doing. So I kind of started with Paratech, which another German company here, and did like my rigger, but I didn't want to be a rigger. I just wanted to get the know-how to understand a little bit. Like I
Sure.
didn't want anything on paper. I didn't want to pack reserves for anybody. I hate packing. I still hate packing. Like I do it and I have to do it. I know I have to do it, but I definitely don't want to do it for anybody else.
Sure.
And so it was just out of curiosity. I just wanted to know how things work,
Mm.
and have it explained to me. And yeah, I tried to see like what could I do in skydiving, like job wise, and I did like a few different things. And then like in Germany, you have to be in the sport at least for 2 years and have a certain amount of jumps to become a tandem instructor.
Sure.
So after this time went by, everybody was like, "Ah, you should do AFF instructor and tandem and whatever." So I did that. I didn't become AFF instructor though, because I said I want to focus on one thing first.
Sure.
And I started with the tandem and did some tandems. And I was at the Winter Festival 2014 in Dubai, I think. And knowing like Frank, for example,
Yeah.
for a long time already, he kind of got me connected with Alan, and then it was about video projects and stuff, and just like being able maybe to work in Dubai. And I was asked, "Hey, don't you want to come to Dubai?" But then, there was also the year where everything changed a little bit and it took some time. And then I was
Sure.
hired as an instructor. And yeah, that's how I got to Dubai.
It was a hell of a place, yeah. I mean, especially you got there kind of as things were kind of starting to shift, but it was still, I mean, Dubai was Dubai.
I think Dubai is still Dubai if you compare it to other places, and it's still a nice place to be. I mean, everything, all the stories I heard before, like before I got there about Dubai and how Dubai started, like skydiving wise. I mean, that was just living a dream, and a dream and a dream and a dream that came
Yep.
true. And how much do you want on top of being able to skydive every day?
Yeah. No, exactly that, right? I mean, it was, and I only got there kind of for the tail end of the golden era, so to speak. But even the time that I spent there, I was ridiculously spoiled. I mean, I'm walking around going, but I'm a jump pilot. You guys are supposed to like shit on me and not pay attention to me and just be mean and yell that I, took too long or I didn't go high enough and all of a sudden I'm showing up and somebody made me a pair of swoop shorts and I'm being given tunnel time and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? This is ridiculous. It was so amazing. I remember my favorite story I ever heard before I got there was the one of the guys that used to fly the Porter out there back when it had just started. Big Boss wanted to do a jump that was off of the landing area and land on one of the roads that was on the shoreline. And the pilot was like, I'd love to land here, but I can't because all the street lights are here and I'll clip the lights with the wings. So Big Boss just took his Hummer and ran the lights down and said, now you can land here.
I already knew where the story was going once you mentioned street poles.
Yeah, man. It was, I mean, and that's kind of how it was too. And it's funny because, and I'm sure you're the same way. I start telling stories about Dubai, and even I don't believe the stories, and I was there. Which was it was so when you first went out there, you went out there as a tandem instructor?
Yes.
But you did a bunch of stuff with their video stuff too, right?
Not really. Like during the season when I was there, we had the World Air Games, and all the staff members were part of some crew or like of the video crew, and I kind of got like head of video something during that time in the desert, which had almost no skydiving at all, and I was just responsible of like whatever we're filming there and getting the things together.
Right.
I tried to do like a little bit of schooling and a little bit of just introducing the cameras and explaining a little bit of camera equipment that we had and getting along with it and just some setup stuff. We had more plans, but also the production was like going down a little bit during that time.
Sure.
And so I was more involved in I was pretty much doing tandems. So like just work wise officially for the company doing tandems like
And how long were you out there for?
I was actually just there for one season, like almost a year.
You
It
only did
wasn't.
one season? Why does it
I
feel like you were there for
know.
so much longer? Did you
I
just make a
know.
bunch of trips before and after? Is that why? Because
No.
I know I saw
I'm
your
just
face for more than a year.
I'm just such a nice guy, you
You're
know.
just
I'm
that
I'm
memorable,
so
right?
well remembered. Yeah, exactly.
You're just that memorable. Okay, I get it. I get it.
Well, I was
So,
there. I was there. The like I said, the Winter Festival before, and I was there actually just once after.
wow. I
So
mean, I suppose, especially sitting up front all the time, I get used to remembering faces and I'm shit with names. I actually forgot my own brother-in-law's name the other day for like 5 minutes. It was horrible. So I'm really bad with names, but I remember faces. So maybe I just remember seeing you more than for one season. Who knows?
also, nowadays it's so much easier to not forget people because of social media.
Yeah.
Like for me, that's a big thing. Like you don't forget faces, you don't forget how faces change. You recognize people, you see what people are up to.
Yeah.
So it helps a lot. And then if you run into somebody, you kind of know what the person is doing.
Oh yeah,
So
man.
that's cool. I mean, it helps us just to keep up. Yeah, some people say you get lazy, you don't actually really connect anymore.
I don't,
But
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'll say that all the negative things about social media that everybody else does, it rots your brain and it gives you a lot of shit ideas if you're susceptible to that kind of stuff. But this podcast wouldn't exist if it weren't for social media. And I wouldn't have nearly the connection that I do with most of my skydiving friends if it weren't for fucking Messenger and Facebook and Instagram. So for
yeah,
as horrible as it is to have to maintain a presence, I'm really glad that I get to because I get to keep up with everybody.
exactly. Especially over distances, like all of us living in different countries, different continents, even.
Yeah, man.
And different time zones, whatever.
Oh yeah.
This is so easy. I mean, I remember getting into social media was pretty much AOL Instant Messenger.
Yeah.
And there was a time when I was like, I don't know, don't get me wrong with the age. Maybe I was 14. I was always like visiting my godfather in the States. So I spent all my summers in the States. And to keep in touch with these kids there, I had AOL Instant Messenger. Like I waited for them to be online and then like, oh hey, what's happening?
Sure.
Like there was
Sure.
no posting pictures and anybody can just access them anytime. It was really like still like a phone call, but kind of text based. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was none of the convenience of modern messaging and you had to type,
no,
but at least you got to talk to somebody.
yeah, that
So
was the other thing that came up after. Um,
for
mm, Before Facebook, what was there? There was this other
oh
my
oh for fuck's sake, what was that
everybody
called?
had it. Everybody had it.
MySpace.
MySpace,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
exactly.
And that
Yeah,
one
yeah,
goofy picture, the only guy that was your friend when you first signed up.
yeah. Yeah. That one.
So what sparked leaving Dubai?
Long story short, let's keep it to the basics. Um, let's say a pregnant woman that you're not married to. Back in the days,
Ah, yeah.
still having some rules in Dubai, which I heard changed now.
It has
Um,
changed.
but yeah, back then, let's say it was more of a problem for her, not for the man.
Yep.
But I was a nice guy, and I was like, okay, we got to do something and take care of something. And it wasn't really like rushing away from Dubai and wanting to stay away. It was more like, okay, before things go terribly wrong or we do get in trouble, let's leave and see how things go and organize and then come back. But it ended up being staying away.
Sure. Well, I mean, and back then too, things have changed an awful lot in Dubai. I remember before I went, being told by people, "Oh, you're gonna hate it. Like all the women are completely covered, and even if you meet somebody, you can't even hold hands in public and all that kind of stuff." And then cut to I'd been there for like 3 weeks, and the first time I ever made it to the beach at JBR, and I'm walking down the beach, and it's just thong bikinis and side boob everywhere, and everybody's tattooed, and people are making out in the sand, and I'm like, are you kidding me? This is not. But with something like that, getting pregnant and not being married was a problem back then. Now it's not,
Yeah. I mean, things have changed, have gotten
which is
way
great.
easier. Yes. To tell you a funny story about Dubai and rules and me, like I'm never panicking and I am not good at following rules.
Mm.
But okay, now that we use video, you can see what I have tattooed on my arm. There's like this lady. She used to be naked riding a rocket, and the week before I went to Dubai, we tattooed the bikini on her because I didn't want to get in trouble. Like thinking about doing tandems every day, like presenting this arm into the camera every day. I was like, I cannot show naked boobs to the camera every
Right.
day in
Yeah.
Dubai.
Yeah.
So, like,
I'll tell you what, it loosened up so much that in the course of my time there, I got my sleeve tattoo after I had gotten there. I went on vacation and came back with the sleeve, and Boss was actually one of the ones that complimented me on it. He's like, "I really like your tattoo." And I'd watch things kind of relax and relax and relax over the years, all the way up until the last year that I was flying. I was on the climb out in one of the planes and had I had a circuit breaker that I was trying to reach. And while reaching the circuit breaker, without knowing it, I had accidentally keyed the mic. And I talked to myself all the time. And as I'm reaching for this switch, I'm literally leaning down, going, "Goddamn motherfucking son of a bitch," over the radio frequency to Dubai, like anybody listening. And had I done that 10 years prior, I probably would have been thrown in jail right away. But that happened, and the controller clicked back on, and just jokingly, with a giggle in his voice, asked, "Is everything all right?" So that to me encapsulates the incredible change that Dubai went through in the 10 years that I was there. You know, I mean, I think it's almost like living in California anymore.
yeah,
Kind
no,
of.
I mean, just like, I mean, I've heard some stuff. I knew, like when I got there doing my first week of tandems, you should have seen me. I was like a little angel with the ring above my head, all suited up, jumping with girls. I wasn't talking to them much. I didn't exchange numbers. Um, there was like some of them coming up, like kissing me on the cheek in front of the camera, like at the end after landing, like saying thank you. I'm like, hey, sorry, keep your distance. We're in Dubai. That was my first week of doing tandems, like I was really afraid to get in trouble.
Yeah.
Like seriously. I mean, I know myself and I know how used to things I am, and just having those routines, and like really fighting with myself to know what I'm doing, to not
Sure.
get into something. And yeah, and 2 weeks later I was like, okay, this is not what I imagined. It's way
It's
more
a
relaxed.
It was a drop zone. I mean, it's actually kind of funny because Dubai has loosened up dramatically over the last 10 years, and the drop zone has tightened up over the last 10 years because the drop zone is now very corporate. It's obviously it's always been very high end, but they're incredibly professional and they want to keep it that way. And so they've really kind of reined in the skydiver hijinks that used to go on there. Which is funny because when Skydive Dubai was at its wildest is when Dubai itself was at its most restrictive. So it's really weird to watch it kind of do this flip.
Yeah. But going back to rules in Dubai, I
Hmm.
think I mean, maybe correct me, it was always a USPA drop zone, but also kind of still trying to find its own way in Dubai,
Sure.
kind of thing, no? And I remember 2016 maybe, we also were talking about rules in Germany, like for age restrictions, because when I was jumping there, it was still 18.
Yeah.
So we couldn't take anybody on a tandem that was not 18 yet, no matter who it was, no matter where he came from or which level of VIP he was. Um, and we were talking like about how it is in Germany and the rules, and then to adapt maybe in Dubai to bring that level down to just open up to more customers and to more families. And I think it was lowered down to 14. Do you know?
At least 14, if not younger, but definitely to 14.
I think so. Yeah, I think like I remember something like 14,
Yeah.
and so that's a big gap already that you fill. I mean,
Yeah,
like
yeah. That
kids
started
from 14 to 18.
basically just before I retired from there. They had dropped the age down because I remember not really knowing what was going on. And then I look out the window as a load is loading up, going, what the hell is that? Because it was a couple of little kids getting on the airplane. And I even had to radio to Manifest going, is this shit cool? are we taking kids now? And they're like, yep, we sure are. So now when you left Dubai, you said you took a break. Obviously, you went and became a dad and started doing all that. Is that kind of what sparked skipping away from skydiving, or it just kind of happened that way?
Well, it didn't. It's not like I jumped away from skydiving. That's good wording. Um, it's not like I wanted to leave skydiving. It was just that, I mean, obviously Dubai is like one of the drop zones where you can basically jump all year round.
Yep.
I have I was told back in 2015, I think, in the winter season, there was never a winter season before where we had so many bad weather days.
Yeah.
Um, and besides that, I mean, normally you can rely at least on the palm that you could jump.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really reliable to have a lot of days for jumping during the year. Even in the summer, I mean, you just have to keep it early enough, but you're still jumping.
Sure.
You can't compare it to anywhere else in Europe where you definitely struggle more with the weather. And
Sure.
even in Spain with the winter, you never know what's coming. It could be quite cold, rainy, whatever, cloudy. So you definitely have less days to jump. And yeah, catching up with Dubai afterwards, it's hard to reach that level, you know. And yeah, it's not like I really tried to get somewhere, also because I wasn't living close enough to a drop zone. I was kind of like, we moved to Barcelona, and there was the time when Window Barcelona was about to open, or was supposed to open. So I was like, hey, cool, let's take some time off and maybe try to work at the tunnel in Barcelona. But that tunnel was delayed big time, like over 2 years, because there was like problems with the grounds and the water from the grounds. So that was delayed. And then, yeah, I was just saying, okay, every now and then let's do some tandems in Manresa, which was like an hour away. And every now and then we went to Emporia Brava. But they also, even though it's Dubai owned, it was like, it still has like its own rules kind of. And
Sure.
it wasn't, let's say, it wasn't even like an ace in my pocket that I was working in Dubai before. It was just like, I never really got into it.
Sure.
So,
Well, if anything, I think that coming from Dubai would almost be a strike against you because Dubai kept taking their planes.
yeah, I think for Emporia, it's not what people there expect. Like, I think they expected a little bit of the same story like Dubai itself
Sure.
when it was taken over, which didn't happen. It's not like it rained gold there. It's still a good working drop zone all year
Sure.
round. So I
Sure.
mean, for Europe, it's
Well,
one of
you
the
get
biggest.
so skewed when you spend any length of time in Dubai because that's just not how the rest of the skydiving world works. It just isn't, you know. I mean, there were every single year at some point I would have to stop myself when I'd get frustrated about this or that or whatever, and I'd have to stop myself and go, "You're a jump pilot and you're living in a high rise and you drive a Mercedes. You should shut your mouth." You're not living in a tent, not struggling paycheck to paycheck if you're lucky enough to get a paycheck.
I mean, I was super happy to be invited by Dubai and to get the opportunity to work there. There was mainly Ellen, who used to be the drop zone manager when I was first asked, but then swapped over to Sandrine. And I was grateful for both of them that to kind of also with the support of Frank to kind of like try to get me to Dubai and to work there. But I also noticed like I came there like super happy and like really saying like, wow, this is like when I started skydiving, everybody said the drop zone to go to skydive is Dubai. And not talking about working there. I mean, just going there as a fun jumper to do like at least one jump and be like, wow, I jumped in Dubai. And then I got to this point where I was invited to work there, and I was super grateful. And I got there with like high expectations and this, but then was also so influenced by everybody's mood and how things changed, and to kind of get, how do you say, side affected by what was going on, even
Sure.
though I had nothing to complain because it was still like more than high standards
Oh yeah.
and what you were getting and everything. But everybody became like, sorry to say, a little princess and had something to complain about. Yeah, I mean, again, whether it was the salary or amount of jumps that you had to do or equipment or whatever, you can't complain. I
No.
mean, yes, it's hot, but you land, you just drop the gear somebody else is packing. You get an air conditioned
Yeah.
spaces.
Yeah.
I
Well, I
mean,
mean,
it was,
that's like telling somebody that jumps at Skydive Arizona that they couldn't handle the heat. Yeah, it's fucking hot, man. I mean, it's just hot. That's it. It's hot. Same shit in the sand as it was in the desert in Arizona. I mean, it's hot. So now I saw a bunch of pictures and a bunch of posts of you doing paragliding as well. Yeah, you've taken your son paragliding, haven't you?
yes. Um, Funny enough, during Corona, it hit Spain also like from one day to the next. The drop zone was just closed. Like we were jumping on a Friday morning. I went for lunch and then 12:30 or something was the last load. And then we all left our gear like usual in the hangar, and then they locked it, and then it was locked for 1 week, for 2 weeks, for 3 weeks. We were like, okay, what's happening here, you know? And then like no one knew what was really going on. I mean, like everywhere, and so we all had to stop skydiving, and we all at one point had to stop tunneling and whatever there was, and it was all about like finding other sports. And after a while, it seemed like the whole drop zone, or at least like the staff part of the drop zone, and like the people who were living around and skydiving a lot, started paragliding.
Mm, nice.
And so we all went paragliding, and some people just kind of went by themselves with like rented material or got some secondhand stuff. And a few of us went to like paragliding school. I decided to go the way of the paragliding school, just also to have official papers if I want to travel abroad or whatever and come to Germany, which was for me good choice. I'm not saying the other choice is bad if you just hang around there and just paraglide, but it was great. Like it was the very similar sport to skydiving, but then still so different.
Sure.
Like, I mean, whatever you trained the years before with your eyes and like knowing your glide ratio and everything, it's just different. Like
Sure.
every skydiver going paragliding thinks I know how to do it and tells like the instructor ever like, it's just a canopy, whatever.
Right.
And then they land and they land in the trees that are like 30 meters behind the landing area, you know, because it's just so much longer and the glide ratio is so much bigger. It's crazy.
I mean, and I have yet to go paragliding. One of these days, hopefully I'll get around to it, but that's what I've been told by every skydiver that goes to it. They're like, yeah, yeah, it's exactly like it when it is, and then it's not.
Yeah, I mean it's great that you can like you just like hike up a mountain and then you're up there. I mean, it's way more like you have to make way more choices for yourself. Like it's not like you go to a drop zone, and I mean there's different drop zones also concerning that, but it's not like you get there and somebody tells you what the weather is like, what the
Right.
winds are like, where the pilot drops you, if it's safe for you with less experience or with more experience to jump, whatever.
Right.
It's like you go there and you have to make a choice. You have to know
Yeah.
the weather, you have to know the area, you have to know your level, you have to know your equipment, you have to make your plan. It's like you have to do so much more work, and
Sure.
it's and that side is like very difficult, I think, for most skydivers because they're used to coming to the drop zone, pay the ticket, and think everything is done. Like a lot of people think everything is done and dealt with by paying the ticket,
Right.
and that's different in paragliding.
Sure.
And
Sure.
and that was something we all had to kind of learn. Doesn't matter whether it was very little experienced skydivers or people with more than I don't know 10 or 20,000 jumps. And it was very interesting to see like these different levels coming together and learning a new sport together. It was
Sure.
really cool, and I really enjoyed this time. And I must say, taking Milo after a while, when I felt confident and when I informed myself with like talking to other instructors and people who do tandems and paragliding, how they would take kits. Like if you need a tandem wing already, or if you can do it with your own wing, because he was only like 18 kilos back then. And what I have to get, and I just got the kid's seat, and I just like kind of clipped it in front of my seat, and we went flying. And the first time we went flying was actually in Emporia on the mountain there, and taking like a nice flight to the beach. It was perfect condition. It was almost a little bit too windy,
Mm.
but we went flying, and I noticed like we could have stayed for an hour or something, but I was like, I don't know how Milo is behaving. He's young, maybe he gets bored, and then I can't land right away. I still have to fly to the beach. So I went like for a straight flight, maybe 15 minutes to the beach. We landed like during sunset, and he was like, "Daddy, this was so cool. Let's go again." And I'm like, "Oh, great reaction, but look, the sun is going down and we need like another 1.5 hours to get back up. So we can fly today, but I promise you we'll fly the next couple of days whenever the weather and conditions allow it. And we went again, and he was like, longer, further, higher. We went flying for 2 hours or something.
Oh, wow.
And then we went further into the Pyrenees, where Margot, the mom of Milo, took her first course there. And I took Milo for some flights there. And it was also like 3 to 4 hour flights there. And like I had the drink, the camelback, whatever. And Milo was like, yeah, playing around with the camera and the selfie stick, and really had the time of his life at this moment. And I was just enjoying how he enjoyed in front of me. And I was like, great, what a cool sport to connect with your kid and to take him along.
Sure.
And yeah, at some point I just had to say, you know what, Milo, I really want to land. Like, I'm sick of sitting in here for 4 hours, and I want to go pee. And like, you know, like my attention span is like for me in paragliding, there was like this magical times, like 2.5 hours, and then I got kind of like to a point where I got a little bit bored.
Sure.
Then 3 was the next magical number, and then 3.5. Like the steps kept decreasing, and like really like, okay. So yeah, but I mean, I can just recommend that to anybody. And then we moved back here to Germany, and it was just, I went to like a paragliding takeoff place, and there were some people there, and like, oh, so where's your license? Where's your club membership? Where's your membership in this whatever federation? Blah 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 blah. And I was like, you know what, guys, forget it. I don't want to fly here.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think that would be the big draw to paragliding, is that it's up to you. That's your thing. I mean, it's yeah. We won't get into the politics of that too much. There's enough politics.
No. I was gonna say, if you get into politics about paragliding and skydiving and whatever air rules there exist, or ground rules or country rules or whatever, then we can talk about 10 hours and we still don't get to a point.
Yeah. Still won't get anywhere. Now, so
one second.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, here I am. Sorry.
No.
Like I said,
so tell me about getting started back in the tunnel in Germany.
Say again?
How'd you get started back in the tunnel?
Starting in the tunnel. Yeah, that was back then when Jerome got me my birthday present for the tunnel. And he had 10 minutes, and we were just like flying how you do it as a first timer. But, well, it kind of involved to a pro flyer right away, being a friend of a skydiver, and just like being dragged in there and like, boom, just follow along.
So now, when you went back to Germany after Dubai, how did you end up working for the tunnel out there?
Yeah. So basically, back in Dubai, I did not have a tunnel instructor rating, but living in Europe, I was frequently asked like, hey, don't you have like in tunnels, like, don't you want to work in the tunnel, or can you help out for 2 weeks or something? I'm like, yes, I can help out, but do I need a rating for that? Yeah, you do. You don't have that? I'm like, no, I don't have that. How do I get that? And then I did my rating actually at FlySpot in Poland. And after that, I went to board shop every now and then, and like in the first Christmas in, I don't even know the year, helping out for maybe 3 weeks, just basically saying, okay, give me all the shifts. I really want to like get into it and get to know things. And yeah, but it at the beginning it was pretty much just every now and then freelance help out basis. And then going back to Spain, I tried to work at Windor, which was kind of, everybody knows from the business and knowing Windor that it's not easy to get into it. Even harder than to get into Dubai. And yeah, I just had really little chances to work there, like really, really little chances. And then Leon, who is now the manager at the bot shop and at Indo Skydiving and bot shop, asked me, hey, Max, don't you want to come for Christmas and help out again? And that was actually 2 years ago. And I'm like, sure. And we like said, okay, then it's set. And then I called him half an hour later. I said, hey, wait, isn't Viernheim opening soon? Because that's way closer to Frankfurt where my family is at. And do you think I could work there during Christmas? Because that would be like super convenient. Then I could like combine visiting family and working and not having to drive 2.5 hours to bot drop, but also being able to just drive within like less than an hour. And he's like, yeah, we're not sure about the opening date, but yeah, talk to Patrick, who's the manager in Firnheim and ask him. I was like, oh well, yeah, I know Patrick as well. I call him. I say, hey Patrick, do you need some help during Christmas? Like, yeah, sure. You want to come? I'm like, yeah. And I came and I just said, hey Patrick, you know what? Like, I don't really need to see my family that much,
Yeah.
but I really need some work and I need to have something to do. Just give me as many shifts as you can. And I was basically just like for 3 weeks working every day and really noticing that I'm working every day, but I enjoyed it because I knew there was an end to that period. Or I
Sure.
thought there was an end to this period because we kept extending the only 3 weeks week by week until I signed a working contract there and
There you go.
basically just stayed. And then I just left, I think, in April to kind of get all the things in Spain together and move to Germany. And then which everybody asked me like, why are you moving back to Germany? Coming from Dubai, living in Spain, and then to Germany. Are you crazy? Well, yes, the weather factor is not the best kind of, I would say, here in Germany, but there's still other things. Like my family is here.
Sure.
I'm not too much of a family guy. I don't know, like other people have maybe even more family thing, but during Corona, I really noticed like how it sucked being kind of locked into the house and having too many rules in Spain about Corona and stuff
Yeah.
like this. And it really got me to the point that I was like, wow, I just really want to be in Germany, like being around with friends, having the family. And we kind of had Milo, just two of us all the time until then, like till 4. We never gave him away to a babysitter. There was never any like me time really with him and like giving him to the grandparents or something. So I was like, okay, let's do that now that he's a little bit older and move back to Germany and get to live a different life again.
Sure.
And yeah, just going working
Eh,
from like regular working hours every day, which kind of that was the hardest part actually to get used to.
Sure.
Like it's almost 2 years now, and I'm like, wow, that's so strange. Like my whole life, I was always lucky enough to have a job. I mean, Dubai was actually the first place where I really signed a contract working at one place every day
Sure.
and just for one company. But then now with the tunnel being like every day, it was really like, wow, I'm really like committing. It's the first time that I work at a company in Germany, and I'm really going there like all the time, and I'm
Eh,
not doing anything else. And even in the summer, we were working on weekends, obviously, because it's still like the prime time.
Sure.
Because everybody else is off work, that means they want to enjoy their time and come flying, and we have to work. So that took some getting used to, but yeah, that's the way it is. I mean,
Yeah.
at
So
38, starting into normal work life is
right.
something to get used
Yeah.
to.
So speaking of the normal work life and flying your ass off, how do people come fly with you if they want to come fly with Max or they want to hear more Dubai stories? How do they track you down?
You mean the non-rated stories, or I think
Yeah.
your podcast. I mean, even though we said, hey, we can say whatever we want, we still keep it
We keep
to a
it
certain level.
to to a certain level. Yeah. Yeah. Love it.
Yeah, well, currently I'm in the tunnel in Viernheim, which is very close to Mannheim. It's like almost an hour south of Frankfurt, and we have actually the first of its kind tunnel for ISG tunnels, which is coming along a little bit with the problematics that we have nowadays, that electricity prices rise and energy prices rise, and we got to keep costs low to actually still be able to maintain all the fun stuff that we want to do.
Mm,
So this tunnel is like a concept that is a little bit less energy consuming. It's mainly marketed for first timers, but it's still a very good tunnel for skydivers up to a certain level. Like any beginner can learn sit fly and everything, dynamic flying. It's not really to compare to something else, a tunnel that is made for competition.
cool.
But even like really experienced skydivers trying to fly there is like a unique experience for them and a way to practice maybe some skills
Sure.
to see like that the technique really has to sit well on spot to actually do the movements that you're used to and comfortable with.
Oh yeah.
um But yeah, we are situated very close to like a shopping center. We are officially part of the shopping center, but like our own building in front of it.
Cool.
So yeah, I'm you can find me there most of the time. Actually, this year I swapped over to do more office work. So I do the marketing, the local marketing in Viernheim, and I'm still sometimes working as an instructor or flying with friends or with skydivers or whatever. And this week I worked at the front desk because we're a little bit short staffed there, and it's very interesting to kind of try to work in the same company doing everything.
Sure.
And I just noticed like what a good job these girls do on a daily
Yep.
basis, because
Yep.
actually I found that the front desk is it was for me the hardest,
Yeah.
especially now we're on holidays, like we have a full house, and the shift was like the morning you're alone, or like in the afternoon you're alone, just in the midday we're the two of us. And I was like, wow, there's so much stuff to do. Like you check in these people, you talk to them, you explain to them everything, you organize the schedule, you answer the phone, you answer emails, you do everything in the background, you do the
Yeah.
coffee, you do whatever. Like it's so much work. Like I didn't look at my phone for the entire day. But the cool thing was the time was just running. Like
Yeah.
I was off shift. It was just like boom.
Well, I mean, it's
Oh.
manifest. It's just manifest for a tunnel. I mean,
Yeah,
manifest is the hardest damn job on a drop zone. I've said it a million times. So front counter to wind tunnel, probably even more so.
Yeah. Yeah, you have a little bit more people that you can work with during the day. I
Yeah.
think like we get to get through more people than on a drop zone. But yeah, I mean it's fun. It's very nice to see the different perspectives, and I was able to like do some behind the scenes, and even for marketing, like get to maybe have some conversation with customers that I normally don't have, etc.,
Sure.
etc. So that was really interesting week for myself. And besides that, skydiving wise, I'm pretty much traveling. Like I don't have the home drop zone that you find me all the time, but and tandem wise, I keep it very true word by word basis. Maybe some social media commercial stuff that we just post some videos, and then people like contact us. But
Cool.
we fill the weekends pretty good, and we like usually like at the moment the main drop zone that we jump at is in Mannheim or Catch, like Hockenheim, you know, where the famous racetrack is at, and they run a porter. So usually they as a club don't have too many of their own tandems, so we can still bring tandems there.
Nice.
And it's not like they have the whole year scheduled out
Sure.
and you really need your appointment. So we usually do the appointments maybe 2 weeks before the weekend, and that
Cool.
it's a very easy going tandem operation then.
Nice. Well, as we wrap things up, give me your social media. So for somebody that wants to come to a tandem with you, they can shoot you a message.
Well, it's just basically my name. You can find whatever you want to find about me with typing in Max Heidenfelder, completely German word.
A little bit.
Heidenfelder. But it's easy to find. We're friends, so whoever connected with you can find me just typing in Max. I think there's maybe 2, maximum 3 Maxes in your friends. I don't know.
I think only 2. I think only
2?
2. Yeah. So
it's a 50-50 chance.
Yeah, throw the dart. Throw the dart. You're gonna score. Max, man, it's been so great catching up with you. I'm really glad that we were able to connect. I know you've been kind of busy, but this was great.
Thank you very much. Nice. Thank you for the invitation.
Yeah, man.
I mean, when did you start doing this?
Almost 5 years ago now.
Almost 5 years ago. Yeah, I remember you starting it. I remember like your postings about it. And I was listening at the beginning. Then I'm not such a like I never listened to any podcast, to be honest, or anything. So for me, it was like, okay, I'm not gonna listen to the last ones because I don't want to be prepared to what you're actually saying. I just want to let questions or talks come, and we see where it goes.
Sure.
And if it goes too far, I'm like, hey, what's going on here?
Well, this was perfect, man.
Hey,
it was perfect.
It went well. All good.
All right, brother.
And the time just ran by.
Yeah, man. Just like that. Like I said, this is the only way I can keep skydivers' attention is to keep them talking.
It's not like skydivers like talking about themselves.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Or their sports.
Take it easy, brother.
You too. See ya.
Well, there you have it. Another episode of the Lunatic Fringe podcast brought to you as always by, well, wait, not as always, actually. Brought to you now by Gyro. Formerly known as NZ Aerosports, you'll head to gyro.com for their next level line of canopies. By Pussfoot, the extreme sports collective. Head over to pussfoot.com to check it out. By Summit Parachute Systems, check out summitparachutesystems.com to talk to Jarrett Martin and the gang about kick-ass pilot rigs, rigging courses, and more. By Flyaway Indoor Skydiving, go to flyawaytn.com and check out all the cutting-edge stuff to come. By Pure Spectrum CBD, head to purespectrumcbd.com to check out their wide range of CBD products. And as for us, head to the lunaticfringepodcast.com to listen to any of the hundreds of episodes currently available, hit the link for our YouTube channel, pick up your copy of the Lunatic Fringe book or The Accidental Stripper, and get a sneak peek at upcoming guests. Once again, thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.
Get on the floor.